Tricked Esport and the Playing Ducks are going all the way here to game number 5 in the Specify series, and so far it's been a good one. The Playing Ducks have earned 2 victories in the last 2 games.
Yeah, technical difficulties on the last map aside, it was a very nice showing from the Ducks on the last 2 maps. And right now we're in a situation where Trick is the one who has to kind of try and avert the reverse sweep. So pretty cool series, I like it.
Well, it's Battleground time. Where are we going to do battle here? It's gonna be Tomb of the Spider Queen, as the Playing Ducks will get the choice. Tricked Esport has elected to go ahead and go with first pick.
Alright, Tomb, another map that can snowball quite a bit if you play it right. Wave clear, very, very important on the map as well. And we could, from a draft perspective, also see very different comps here. It's another comp, or another map, where we could see also the double support Vala being played.
Double support Vala, suddenly mages like Li Ming and Chromie become very effective on this battleground. Johanna in particular goes up in priority as a tank, so let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit excited to see what exactly is going to happen here. So we had, of course, so far when we're looking at the maps bans on, here's like Anubarak, for example. The Haka was banned a lot during the last few games, but not so much on a smaller map as, for example, Tomb of the Spider Queen. He still gains value here, but I don't think he's going to have the same priority. And Tricked is doing something that we have seen before, the ban on Chromie against the Ducks in particular.
This is the second time in 2 days that we've seen the Chromie get banned against the Ducks on this battleground, so Chromie no longer up for grabs. The Ducks will be thinking about their ban. And this is a battleground that you can get away with not banning Abathur, so we shouldn't be seeing it here today. There's always the possibility of seeing that Gul'dan banned out, and there it is.
2 mages are being banned. So we're going to our first picks, and Tricked right away saying double support Vala, that's going to be the name of the game. So the Ducks are very likely going to head into something along the lines of Uther and Greymane. Uther and Anubarak.
Sure.
It's very, very likely here for them. And then Tricked probably going to react, I would say, with an Oriel, picking up the Rhaegar later, maybe the Malfurion together with that. There's a lot of option for Tricked, as they've shown before.
Yeah, normally I would say maybe the Tassadar, but Tricked isn't really a team that goes into that Tassadar as much. So there's going to be... Wow, that's some variety for you.
All right, completely ignoring the bans so far and saying, Medivh it is. Finally, Sport Billy is on his hero, and we get the Haka as well. And then the reaction from Tricked also quite interesting. Oriel, as expected, one of the supports, but still going into the Diva here. We are in for a very different draft.
That we are, man. And the thing is, too, if Playing Ducks want to go ahead and ban out Uther here, which they probably should, actually, they can pick it up for themselves. If Uther gets banned out by Tricked, there's always that Rhaegar Ariel that we saw earlier that can be a mix-up. So, the Ducks, what do you ban?
You kind of know, if you're Tricked Esports and you ban out Uther, the chances that the Playing Ducks are taking Malfurion are really high.
True.
And then you can pick your Rhaegar. So, when it comes to the supports, I think Tricked has a very good chance to dictate a bit what's happening here, if they want them.
Playing Ducks are considering that right now. Would we want to maybe support Choke and ban out a healer here and make it risky?
Nah, you can't do that. I mean, what are you banning?
Malfurion, then Uther maybe gets banned out?
Malfurion,
oh, they would just not ban it out, you're
Rhaegar,
right.
Tassadar, there's 4 healers on the board. There's no way you can ban all of that out. So
I'm glad you're my drafter in this co-cast. Thank you so much, Caldor.
So there's the Sonya for the solo lane, shutting her down. And Tricked is saying, we've seen your Cassia. We don't really want to play that particular style again, especially with our double support Vala, since it's kind of what happened on Dragonshire. Double support Vala going up against
Cassia Morales.
Exactly, the Cassia play. So they go get rid of the Cassia first. Another target ban against Playing Ducks.
I feel like they would have better tools to deal with it though this time. This time they have the Diva, and Diva can be very disruptive to Cassia in particular. You walk up the defense matrix, you can knock her out of position. I don't think that ban was needed, but regardless, they don't want to deal with it. Anubarak and Uther will be the pickup.
Yeah, I see what you're saying with the Cassia, and I'm really wondering myself if you really needed to ban her out, because I think banning either the Anubarak or the Uther, I would have preferred that, I think, because we expected those two being picked as number 1 and 2 spot. And then they went into the Haka Medivh instead, so Tricked had a chance to ban one of them out, and they didn't. And now they get picked up really late, but they are still incredibly strong.
Well, Tricked Esports thinking about their 4th and their 5th here. Another tank would be great.
I would say Rhaegar just because it's tricked and they seem to have this very high priority on Rhaegar. If not, then a Tacita would also make perfect sense. The Leoric for the bot lane, but it is the Rhaegar. So Rhaegar taken, Leoric will move into the bot lane, and then we're going to find out if the double support Vala is strong enough on the side of Trick to beat the draft that the Playing Ducks have just put on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Very, very solid.
Do the Ducks have enough control in terms of wave control? Like, I know they can force engages, like the portal in can be great here, especially if Dahaka and Uther get the proper follow-up, and then Greymane goes in for the damage, but if they fall behind, can they fight back well?
I think so. I mean, we have... The biggest poke they have is Greymane. Once the cocktail is there with good stacks, I think if they have to defend and they fall behind, they can always poke with that and use that as a defense. But it's a little bit trickier for them than it is for their opponent. So with what we are having for Tricked Esports, I think they have a lot more that they can use to simply defend against waves when they are a bit behind and just stay safe there. I like what Tricked has. I think also that we are having a great draft on the side of the Playing Ducks, but after seeing Diva of Alex now a few times and him being target banned, I think on a small map like this, he is going to be able to make those plays for his team again.
Yeah, I think the Playing Ducks have to have a really good early game and maybe even get a turn in at some point just to make sure that they're in a good spot going into level 10. We have seen the Playing Ducks be very effective on the portal play from Medivh. They usually drop the portal in, go for the engage, the call is made. But Trick Esports, on the other side, they have that Diva. We'll see if they can handle the pressure of the Playing Ducks. And Medivh coming in for the first time in this series. Get excited, man, because it's game number 5.
The last game of the series has just started. The Playing Ducks are going up against Tricked Esports. And Tricked is starting to the left side of the map with Knappe on Oriel, Crosby on Vala, Remmer on Leoric. We have Alex the Pro G being a diva again, and Make on Rhaegar.
On the right side, in the red, they've won the last 2. Can they end it here? On Greymane will be Chris Wolfjoe playing Uther, Sport Billy on Medivh, Eternal on Dahaka, and Nande on Anubarak.
Yeah, Nanda on the Nubarak here, and I feel that especially when we're talking about Medivh, it's the one thing that I really am watching Sport Billy. He has been a cornerstone of his team in the last phase in particular, and I really think that he needs to be the one making the plays. He has great ley lines that he can use as setups. We're having so many tools on the side of the Playing Ducks, but Tricked is now running that diva that we have seen several times from Alex in particular, and the big question, of course, is can he make that work?
I'm ready to see if that'll happen here, as Tricked Esports has a really solid amount of wave clear between Rhaegar and Vala in particular. They can control these waves really well, especially when that multi-shot build comes online. Crosby stepping forward here and putting harassment on Wolfjoe, and the Medivh here on the bottom is looking towards the aggression on the Leoric, but Rimmer is making sure not to even clear out that wave. He plays safely on the bottom lane. Diva comes out though, and there's 5 people here. Alex Aprogi is the first kill.
Really well done by the Ducks. That was great coordination, good syncs of their stuns and the drag of the Haka. That was very well played here. Sport Billy alone on this map is going to give them so much mobility, and this is going to be one of the biggest assets for the Ducks, that they have a Dehaka that can burrow to any lane, that they have a Medivh that can make these rotations so much faster, and Tricked will have to adapt to it.
Make being careful here on the top lane. See if Trick can adapt to that Medivh as he has another portal going down. And this is the best part about watching Medivh here with Sport Billy. They put down a portal, they go for an aggressive play. If it doesn't connect, they instantly leave. They don't float around too much. They don't really try to attempt for a second chance. They're just trying to make sure that they're ahead in experience and are always putting their opponents on the back foot.
Yeah, so we have for now, this is... You raise a really good point. Just the portals alone. We are talking with Medivh oftentimes also about the protection of someone when Greymane, for example, makes this plays. But you could see right here, again, how good they are playing around these portals. And the coordination of a good team with a Medivh is fantastic. We've been saying that when Expert is playing. Roll20 on the North American side has the same ability. And this is just absolutely outstanding how much more aggressive and how much more threatening your play becomes if you are on on really just one thought when a Medivh is near your team. You have the trust. You see the portal, you have immediately the trust, and you're either having the escape or the engage that you need to put the opponent under pressure.
Yeah, the playing Ducks are all in on a decision, but not having to be all in because of that portal. Here's another aggressive play. They catch Alex Aproji. The tongue does connect, but he'll be able to get away for now. Trick Esport, though, however, even with that first kill that we saw earlier, is keeping up an experience. This is the strength of their composition, being able to be in this wave clear scenario where they just consistently push in their opponents. And if there's a moment where the playing Ducks move all in on a move like we saw earlier, they could miss a couple minions here or there, which could put them behind. So they have to be tiptoeing around their opponents.
Yeah, again, portal engage here, trying to go for Alex, but the detainment strike saving him. Also the Royal Focus build for Leoric really pressuring the bot lane, so the rotations of the Ducks are important. They move down usually with 1 or 2. Make sure that Alex has a bit of Rema has a bit of a counterpart there. But overall, the Ducks looking strong. They are getting a slight lead in experience. They have 23 of their gems already turned in. So as we are talking about the objective, they are looking solid.
Yeah, and the Royal Focus build coming online allows Leoric to do this. He comes in and helps his teammate clear out the middle. And at one point or another, if you start to realize that your opponents aren't respecting your rotations as a 4 unit, you can actually have Leoric sit there and clear that out by himself and put that Volo composition in the top and work on turrets to start breaking down that fort, which is an important lane because later on those boss openings are always big.
Also, Rema Bola is going to have a lot of gems, and this is important that he's not simply going to die there. So they need to be very careful about their bot laner. He's already moving in once again, gets the damage output here, and the teams are both looking towards that level 7. Also want to highlight quickly that we have 4 Nuborak Underking taken. And this is something, always keep an eye on it. We've been mentioning over the last days, but Underking versus Bed of Barbs tells you a lot about what a team wants to do with their composition.
Diving on that back line, looking for that Volo, that Ariel in particular. Usually you do see better barbs when you have like a Grey main or a Nuther on the opposing team, or even a Diallo, someone that you know has limited mobility and can be caught off. But with that not being here for the playing Ducks, they're really intending to dive in on Trick Esports and get those kills.
The first Webweaver wave has also been summoned, and this is really where the Ducks have excelled in the early game, controlling the objective. Ghastly Reach for Leoric so that he gets full value out of the Royal Focus. You don't need the Lingering Apparition on this map if you want to move between lanes. The lanes are very close to each other. But this is all about the defense now. How much can Trick Esports really do here to defend, and how much value will the Ducks get out of the first Webweaver wave?
Well, Ducks portal having to be pretty unvaluable here as he has to get away from the fight. Destruct being popped here to help clear out the Webweaver, but also keep the opposing team away, and Trick Esports can turn their attention to top lane.
Yeah, the first defense in the mid lane was good. Only a slight lead experience for the Ducks. Defense to the top is also looking strong as Leoric is dealing with the Haka at that bot lane. So he needs a bit longer for that. But a few towers still go down, so the Ducks get some value out of it. It's nothing too crazy yet, but it's definitely giving them a slight edge. They are really aggressive with these engages though, and I'm liking it. But Chris is in trouble immediately. The Force of Will coming out, Alex helping out with the defense matrix too. But they cannot confirm the kill, as the Ducks have Medivh, and Sport Billy is just playing too good here.
That was a testament to the trust between Alex Aproji and Crosby. Him getting low on health, but he still vaulted forward, knowing that Debo is on their way to knock the Grey main into an attack. Didn't result in a kill, but you love to see moments like that, where you can see a team is really starting to come online and really utilize each other.
So now, once again, Alex under pressure. It's beautiful how they sync all of this up, and Alex is very likely to die here. The heals come in, he's trying to escape, but this is just not happening. And this has been a reoccurring theme in this game. The Ducks make the engage onto D.Va, get the stuns in, burst the mech down, and then we have immediately also the Tong ready on the Haka. And this is really bad for Trick, because it was their job to get a turn in before the Ducks hit 10. And now all of a sudden they are looking extremely weak here. They lost a couple of gems. They have a problem once that the Ducks hit 10, because we will see a second turn in for the Ducks if they play it right, and that could snowball fast. This is what this map is all about. This is the reason why the playing Ducks chose Juno the Spider Queen.
And they only need 4 more gems to get that turn in here with that level 10. A full half a level on their opponents. Here's 10, and Trick Esports is trying to spread out as much as they can to make sure they have 10, but also delay the turn in. 21 gems have come out, and Nande decides to go in for an engage. Cocoon has been used, and here's a Thurnal.
Yeah, there's the Cocoon, and they are immediately trying to burst the target. Crosby doesn't stand a chance. you can't get caught like this. You have to accept at this point it's not happening, so you need to move away from it. The 10 has hit, Cocoon engages there. There is no risk for the Ducks. They have the... Well, but actually, Trick got the web weaver wave. Trick got it. So at least that happened. When it started, I actually assumed immediately it was the Ducks after the kill that confirmed also the second web weaver wave. This is at least giving them a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah, Rimmer there realizing that Thornell went to the middle lane, took his opportunity to move in and get for the turn-in, and Rimmer will earn his team a turn-in. With Crosby now spawning, Trick Esports can move forward and start to break down their own turrets. Watch out though, the playing Ducks can portal in at any point with isolation being here. If that connects on Vala or even a support, Trick Esports can start to fall.
But Vala came in at the right moment in time, so now they're getting some value back. This was the saving grace getting that turn-in. If the Ducks would have been able to interrupt it and get their own after the kill against Vala, that could have been a disaster. But this was great for Trick. The question is just how much can they achieve with it? We have a lot of poke happening here, and Greymane and Dehaka have protected the rest of the lanes. Mid lane still being under fire, but the gap isn't completely closed. The playing Ducks are still ahead. They are looking strong in the last few games, and they have a 3-0 kill count on top of it.
Yeah, Trick Esports very confident on moving in that middle lane to break down that fort and get it low, but the playing Ducks with 3 members defend it relatively well. They also off-soak on the top and the bottom, which gives them more of a lead here in experience as they get closer to level 12. Trick at this point is looking for a fight. They've hit level 10. They know their composition is good in team fights if they're able to work it together here, so they move in, but constantly, Sport Billy just has these portals for escapes.
Yeah, Alex at some point is going to try and get it engaged where he uses the bunny hop to allow Vala to get more damage in. This is going to be one of the thought process here for them for sure. The Web Weavers once again descending for the red team. They snuck in the turn-in, and yes, Trick will have to face the music once more. 13 shouldn't be an issue during that time, but it's definitely going to hurt. So here comes again the drag, nice cleanse, well done. And the Cocoon, kind of wasted, was a nice thought. Drag in the Diva, make sure that you get the Cocoon into the back, but the cleanse was already out. So a slight mistiming that leads them to use a few of their cooldowns, but that could have been a kill.
A slight mistiming, but still Dahaka's getting pressure on the top lane. He's pushing in, looking for the fort, while Medivh works on the bottom lane, which does scare me a little bit. Medivh not being near the team means that Trick Esport could force a fight. They just now see Medivh is in the middle, so we see Alex Koji step forward, but he's going to get silenced.
And there's the Entomb on the other hand, and the Detonate way into the back, zoning them out completely, especially Wolfjo. Mech is on again, but already in the back we're seeing the leyline seal. Alex using the bunny hop here, getting dragged once more. Was actually a bit surprised that he went in this deep. I thought he was trying to sync it up with the Entomb, but he attempted to isolate the target from the rest of the team.
Knocking him out. The leyline sealed used by playing Ducks will prevent Trick Esport from going for a fight and getting a kill, and that allowed the Web Weaver in the bottom to actually continue to push it. And that's why the playing Ducks took that fight and were willing to dance around that entire area. They got a fort taken out because of their willingness to fight.
It's a rough time for Trick. It's a great time to be a Ducks fan because they are looking very good in this third game. They haven't lost a single hero yet, and they are always bringing the pain. They get the value through the objective. A lead in experience leads to the early 13, and they are by now nearly 1.5 levels ahead of their opponent.
Diva in trouble on the bottom left here as Medivh and Dahaka are going in for her. Can they get the kill? Alex Koji low, he gets behind the wall. Here comes the Q, and Sport Billy landing the missile there, gets the kill.
Yeah, the Ducks are definitely running the show now. They are looking very strong. Losing the first 2 games was definitely a setback, and I'm very impressed that they are able to make all of this happen because they must have felt the pressure. If you lose yesterday with an 0-3 not even taking the map, and then you lose 2 maps immediately, you must be worried. But they are doing everything they can to turn this around and make a reverse sweep happen, and it is looking more and more likely. And Sport Billy is doing exactly what we expected him to do. He's setting up the plays for his team, and he's playing fantastic on that Medivh.
Looking good for the Ducks, but Trick Esports still has a chance here, especially with Maka here with 44 gems currently sitting on that puppy. Can he get the turn-in at some point? That would be great, but Sport Billy has been doing a great job of watching that bottom turn-in at all points to make sure nothing happens. But that's the key to victory here for Trick Esports. Get a turn-in and start winning team fights.
Yeah, but the turn-in on the side of the playing Ducks is also progressing. It's 13 versus 13, but the 2-level lead of the playing Ducks, 13 versus 13 talents, but the 2-level lead, that's the problem. 16 is the threat, and also, of course, that your opponent is going to snowball it even harder. So Trick gets the turn-in. They need to get value out of this. If they don't get value out of this turn-in, then the Playing Ducks are going to run away with the experience and the game.
Yeah, value in terms of at least forwards. I need some forwards to be broken down here for Trick Esports, or they're going to really, really start hurting here. So they group up in the middle and the bottom. They're trying to coordinate pushes between the middle and the bottom and not care about the top, as the top isn't really going to get too far away. And here we are. Aggression occurring here. Nande snarking on the side, willing to engage.
Dehaka is waiting though. He wants another wave at the bot lane so that they get the level 16 talent. And that is really where Dehaka is going to shine now. If he takes the wave down and gets a 16 talent, there's a very good chance that the Ducks are willing to take a fight. And Trick will have to fight against the talent lead, and that is always tricky. You can make it work, but it is a tall order. Once again, here we go. Fort is down. That was important. Top lane is also getting pushed, but the 16 talent is now here for the Playing Ducks.
Remember watching out for the flank that you were talking about, realizing the Playing Ducks got 16 with Dehaka on the bottom. Here comes Nande on the right side, really threatening a fight at any point. And Trick Esports, they have to respect it, especially with Sport Billy sitting on the top.
A lot of damage already against Nande, has the shield still. The top lane is getting value, so as long as they are here, top lane is alright. Once more, Bunny Hop being used for the unstoppable. Leyline comes in, doesn't hit anything. Sport Billy completely missing. But he gets the isolation. Aegis dropped right away, and Tomb now too. Cocoon in the back, being bursted down. Alex can boost away, goes in with the self-destruct.
It's out, and the Force of Will / Portal combo will keep Sport Billy alive, but I like the idea from the Playing Ducks here. They're going in for the engage, dropping the isolation on D.Va, and are trying to kill her mech before she's able to hit that self-destruct button.
It was still a really good fight for Trick, because the Leyline seal former Medivh missed completely, so Trick didn't get any kills. But they got the fort in the mid lane, they got the fort at the top lane, and they really closed the gap in experience down to a single level instead of 2, which will allow them to soon fight on 16 talents. They just have to stall this out a little bit more, as the Playing Ducks are actively looking for a fight. Alex was just stuck there for a second, but okay, they don't make the engage.
All right,
that was scary for a moment. I really thought Anubarak might dive in, but the rest of the team was too far away.
I think they saw Anubarak use the Impale on the bottom left, so they didn't mind if he actually came in for the engage, because they could have maybe taken a fight, but still, you're right, that was a scary moment. Trying to time out the mercenary camp so they can help clear out the web weavers that will be pushing, but not quite hitting the mark. 16 on the cusp here for Trick Esport. They need to grab that and then have a solid defense.
And you can really tell that the level 13 talent alone already helped Trick a lot, especially with the extra damage on Leoric. He's been constantly being able to get that in. And if you put more pressure onto Anubarak, it really hurts him. So we have the red web weavers coming in. This is the 16 talent that we've been waiting for. This is strong talent in particular. I mean, right now we're talking about auto attack damage on the side of Vala with the Manticore. We're having the cooldown reduction with the Unyielding Despair on the Drain Hope. Fantastic talent. Also the attack speed increase for Vala. So the synergy between Vala and between Auriel is really big right now. And on top of that, the Earthgrass Totem too. So there's a lot happening for a Trick, but this web wave is still something that they need to be concerned about.
They're working on it in the middle here. Dehaka's in the top lane, facing off against Leoric. The bottom lane will be the one that will start to get pressure in as web weavers are pushing in. But you're right, 16 to 18 here. This is the time for Trick to be effective in team fights. Chris is going to be hit here with the Totem. Divine Shield coming out to keep him alive.
Yes, the Cocoon also bursted down immediately. 5 versus... moving away here. 5 versus 5 in that situation. Damage on the keep at the bot lane, so that is the trade-off that they made here. They're taking the web weavers down, and it's not too bad yet. They haven't lost the keep, but the 2-level lead has been restored thanks to the structures that Trick has lost.
Yeah, this is now becoming a point where I was a little bit fearful for Trick Esport. Now I actually see a chance for them to actually be in a spot where they can win the game. Playing Ducks at the same time are actually looking a little bit reclusive themselves.
So we have a turn-in. We have a turn-in for Trick, so they can get that. This is... How do you play when you're Trick? Do you go for the turn-in? Do you try to force a fight over the boss? Don't really think you have to yet.
Leyline Seal, that'd be really scary, and isolation.
I wouldn't do that either. I think there's way too many tools around for the Ducks to make that. But once again, the drag, the stun against Alex. He gets healed. The double support really keeps them on. But if the turn-in doesn't work out, that would be a disaster for Trick. Wow. And so far, the Ducks are actually doing a really good job at just poking away.
I'm interested why the Playing Ducks haven't tried to change their strategy here. The strategy's been to focus down D.Va, but she got explosive play or expensive plating at 13, which gives her a little bit more health, 20% more. It's going to cost her a little bit more time on her mech, but still, she hasn't fallen as quickly as we've seen in the early games since that's been picked up.
Rema just can't get those few gems in. They're always interrupting. And in order to, finally we have that, but in order to really make it work, they need to just move up a little bit and punish them for poking this heavily. At this point, they are really committed to that turn. And if they don't get the turn in, that's going to be a disaster.
Dahaka's pushing the bottom during all of this here, which is giving them a ton of value. They got the keep down to half health, and he may be able to actually get that keep by himself.
I think it's already too late to send someone back and defend it. I think you just give it up here.
Well, we'll see if that will occur here. Sport Billy has to harass as well as Make is going in for 3 more gems. They finally get it. The Web Weavers will be on the field, but Dahaka in the bottom left, he is getting the last couple of auto attacks, and there is the keep. Also, 20 close for the Ducks.
So Trick gave up the keep. They give up the, well, they have also now a talent disadvantage in a few seconds. They still need to force this.
They're looking for it.
I mean, what else are you going to do? If you don't fight with the Web Weavers, when are you going to take that fight? You're 2 levels down to 20, so you have to do it now or never. And this is, it's rough, but it's your only shot.
You're committing to pushing the top lane, just to give them time for their middle and bottom Web Weavers to push out. Drag comes out, hits Alex the Prodigy on that Diva. He knocks back.
Tries to get the isolation of Anubarak, forces the burrow. Web Weavers are now coming in. This is a really rough match now for Trig. All that playing Ducks have to do is play safe, defend, wait until the Web Weavers are gone, and you are in the best position ever. Already the ley line being used. They want the engage. They are forcing the fight. Egg is used. Here comes the bunny hop going in immediately. Self-destruct as well. Can they get a kill off that?
They cannot there. It's going to be a 1 kill here already, though, as Leoric will fall out to Prodigy in the front line, using Defense Matrix on whatever he can here, looking for Chris. Nape on the retreat, and Make is going to fall.
That's the second kill after Leoric died earlier, and this is really bad now. Web Weavers in the mid lane and the bot lane are still getting some value for Trig, but we will probably see a boss play by the Ducks once that they have defended. They might still lose the keep, though. Wow! I did not think that the Web Weavers would be this much, would have executed this much pressure onto the mid lane.
Well, they grab a 4 and a keep, so there we go. Some experience for Trick Esports. They're about to hit level 19. Leoric's back up in 3 seconds, and the only main power play for the playing Ducks is either to push the core or go for the boss. Oh, wow.
Rema just screwed up.
He messed up pretty hard there. Can he get out? Nope. He's going to fall there, and the playing Ducks will easily take that.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. They go for boss plus Web Weavers right now. Rema was trying to see if they go for the boss, and he moved in way too late, and he might just have lost in the game.
Well, boss is being grabbed as well as a turn-in. The playing Ducks are going to get 3 Web Weavers and a boss pushing in all the lane. Drimmer's here to scout out the scenario, but I think you can't go for it. It's 19 to 20. No. Do you just Hail Mary it?
I don't think so. Not against the ley line.
No.
And the cocoon.
There it is.
Yeah, he needs to move away from this. They have to face this, and it is going to be rough. What is Rema doing? He needs to go back out of this. Why are you fighting there? Okay, so they're trying to take it. They go for Rema immediately. He falls right away, and that's the ley line now coming in too.
Alex is coming here with a bunny hop. He's on 5 people. He's trying to disrupt the fight. He will stop nothing from being killed off, but he is low on health. Make trying to heal. The heal comes at the last second. Can we get the heals from Nape? He keeps up with it, but here comes Chris to shred.
2 down, Rhaegar down, Oriel down, and that is just too much. The healers are gone. Rough play here, and the Ducks are just going in. They take that. I really feel the second time that Rema actually revived, I should have given him a little bit more credit for this. I think it's the only fight they can take. I don't think if they move back, they can defend against boss and against the Web Weaver, so I think it's the only battle they can take. It was maybe a bit too far up, but this is just Ducks going in, and they are going to win this. They make the reverse sweep happen. Trick used the reverse sweep yesterday to take their first win in the season, but now we have the Ducks doing exact same thing to them. Great play here, and it just felt like the last map was always under their control. I didn't really get the feeling that Trick ever had a really good chance of making this happen.
That and Infernal Shrines, the playing Ducks pull off the reverse sweep. Congratulations to them. They'll now be 1-1 here in the HGC, as well as Trick Esports. So a great first couple of days for both of our teams here, but it was really awesome to watch here go all the way to game number 5.
I mean, we went into the season and said this is going to be the best season so far. This is going to be phase 2 where all the teams are really close. And that's exactly what we're getting at this point. So a great start with our first few matches there. And the playing Ducks, very impressive. Making a reverse sweep happen.
It was
Kudos.
cool to watch the Diva be great in game 1 and game number 2, but over the course of the series, the playing was like, all right, here's how we're going to control Diva. And in game number 5, it all came online. The lockdown from Uther into the Impale for the knockup, into the Drag when she came into pilot form. They were ready for that layered mech health to come out, and they just punished every single time.
The coordination of them on the last map in particular was really strong against Diva. They put so much pressure onto Alex that he never really got the opportunity. Well, he got a few good self-destructs, but the opportunities that he was creating for his team in the previous games just weren't there.
All right, well, it's time to talk to the Playing Ducks, and we have Wolf Joe on the phone. Wolf Joe, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Holy.
Oh, holy.
That was a serious, man.
Okay, so holy is how you're going to describe that entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, we were, I guess, shaky in the beginning. Like, yesterday you saw it. Like, we didn't perform that well in the first 2 games. And then we did it. We hold through. Holy shit. I'm so relieved, man.
These interviews, man. Holy moly for Wolf Joe here. Wolf Joe, tell me about your mentality, actually, because you're a team that in phase 1 was like, okay, we know that we're probably around mid-tier, maybe at best, but we're going to take our time over the last 10 weeks to become great, and in phase 2, we want to turn it up. Friday hurt you guys a little bit, but today, the turning up did happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's like this like season. It's completely opposite. Our scrims results are way better, but in league we just can't perform. I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, we need to like fix it and stick to our guns. I think like yesterday we experimented too much in draft, and today we kind of had much more prepared and played it down. Like.
Well, before I send you over to Caldor, tell me about your roster. How does it feel to have a Thurnal? Tell me about him and how he's really synergizing with you guys.
Like, the attitude is way better in the team. Like, we all want to improve. We all we give our best in the scrims. Like last year, like last time we took some days off and like didn't perform, and it was like generally bad mood. But Eternal is like bringing so much here, so much experience. Like, it's a blessing to have him.
Awesome, Caldor, over to you.
All right, first of all, congratulations, reverse sweep. Not bad at all. The one thing I want to know, first of all, is when was the moment when you guys said, okay, we have this? This is actually, we can make this happen. Was it already after the first win? Was it on the last map? Or when did you guys say, okay, we can actually take this back?
On the last map, it was exactly what we trained for. Like, they gave us exactly what we wanted. It was, like, super good. We played it down, and, like, we were... Like, I don't know, as you said, like the first 2 games we were super shaky. No idea.
Were you a bit surprised that they didn't take a Nubarak or Uther away from you? Because we were discussing that a bit in draft after you started with a completely different rotation on the 1-2. It seemed there should have been a ban, but they completely ignored it and just said, take whatever you need, we can deal with it.
Oh, we were surprised that they didn't take the Anoop. Like, I think Anoop dominated the first 3 or 4 games like really hard, and like we had no idea. Like, we were struggling with it, they were struggling with it. So I was like, oh, that's surely banned. We won't get it. But they gave it a set. Like, they gave us everything we wanted.
All right. Well, congratulations once again. You guys must be pretty relieved. I mean, we can already tell.
Yeah.
You're having a good time there. But yeah, we have a close season. Any idea? What would you personally expect for the phase 2 right now? Do you think that the teams all moved closer together after we've seen now a few roster changes and new teams come in?
I think they already have, like, as you can see. Like, I think the top 2 is still, like, Dignitas and Fnatic are still kind of unreachable. Like, they are just one step ahead, as you see, in MSB. But I think the rest will move closer and closer together. I don't think there will be one team which will go, like, 0-12 or 0-10 this season.
All right, well, before we let you go, you are facing off against Team Good Guys next week. So you have a couple of days to relax after your rocky start in the very beginning of the HGC Phase 2. But starting for next week, what are you guys going to do to prepare?
We scrim, like, our scrim schedule is full. Like, 2 scrims a day. Like, maybe we pick up another one. We need to prepare for the new draft. Like, Mathael, we need to see how the depth. We didn't train with him at all. Like, we will train our hearts out.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to that, Wolf Joe. Before I let you go, shout-outs as always.
Yeah, shout-outs to all our fans. Like, shout-out to Be Quiet, everybody who stuck around supporting us. And, like, we hope we won't disappoint you and we'll do better this season with Eternal.
Awesome. Well, the Ducks get a victory today. Wolf Joe, obviously very excited, man.
See, this is the team where I came in on Friday and said they look great in scrims, and that's exactly that team spirit I was talking about. Them being excited, them saying, we got this, we are looking really good right now. And then the Zealot game happened where he himself says, I don't know what went on there, or
Yeah.
scrims look better, and today they showed that.
Well, good. They got over the hump now, and now they
Yeah.
can continue to focus on those scrims. 2 scrims a day, man. They're going full all out for this next week, getting ready for the good guys for next week. So looking forward to that match. But we're going to get the good guys first here at the HGC, as they'll be taking on Team Liquid next. We'll be right back after this commercial break for an epic series.